My new skink character. His name is Martin Crocodile Skink. He's a crocodile skink. He was one of the worst villains in Florida in the 1980s. Martin Crocodile Skink was born on April 5th, 1958 in Safety Harbor, Florida. He was being one of the students considered as retarded, and he was expelled from school for death threats to students at the age of 17 in 1975. In 1979, he rounded up a gang of 4 animals called the Deacon Jackals. In 1985, he recorded a message to a police officer saying, "Someday I will shoot you and Florida will be mine. Ha 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 ha," in which ended with an evil laugh. On February 19th, 1987, a police officer was sent on a mission to arrest Martin Crocodile Skink. 8 police officers were captured by Martin's gang. One of the gang members tried to beat a police officer with a baton. Then a gunshot was fired, blowing off a roof of the truck. Then a 21-year-old young man named Robert Eagle, whipped up with his machine gun and teamed up with a riot police officer named Frank Deerburt. Robert and Frank got involved with a gunfight with Martin's gang and set on of the gang members' trucks and fire. Later, Robert and Martin met with each other at the festival. Robert replied to Martin, "You better not kill any innocent people here, or else you're going to get in very big trouble." Later that night, Martin ordered a gunman to kill someone. Robert's sister was hanging out with his fiancee, and they were hiding in the car. The gunman fired 2 shots at Robert's sister's fiancee, and the bird died. Then Martin ordered the gang to push over Robert's sister's car off the hill and end up in the ditch, injuring her. On February 20th, Robert and Frank ordered up the riot police to hunt down a henchman of Martin Crocodile Skink. They found the gunmen, and so the riot began here in Tampa. Gunfire rang out, and Frank was about to arrest the gunman, but the gunman escaped and drove his truck. Robert jumped on the gunman's truck and then drove off. When the truck arrived in Egypt Lake-Leto, Robert was thrown off the truck and went tumbling on the ground. The gunman's truck crashed into a gasoline tanker, and then gasoline was spilling out onto the truck. Then the gasoline turned into flames. Robert took the gunman out of the burning truck, and then it exploded. The gunman was arrested for second-degree murder, with which the animal was responsible for the riot. The gunman was taken hostage in Robert Eagle's home in Brandon. Then Martin Crocodile Skink and his band of gunmen decide to kill 5 people who were playing poker. Later that night, Robert's pet husky was shot by a band of gunmen and killed. On February 21st, Martin was planning to raid a garage in Memphis. Robert and Frank were ordered to protect the garage. Then later that night, Martin and his band of gunmen soon raided the garage. They later got involved in a gun battle. On February 22nd, Robert and Frank decided to arrest Martin and his band of gunmen and hunt for the stolen jewelry inside an abandoned military field, which was raided by Martin Crocodile Skink and his band of gunmen and killers. In Cortez, Frank sent his group of police and riot gear to disperse the gunmen. One of the killers were hit by arrows by a crossbow. One gunman pulled on Robert's shirt, and then Robert kicked at him, causing a gun to fire off. A gang member fired a bazooka at Robert, Frank, and the riot police, and so the battle started. 35 gunmen, 4 gang members of the Deacon Jackals, and 6 killers being attacked by the riot police. All of the 35 people were shooting guns. Then, the riot police fired tear gas canisters to disperse them. They beated them with batons, but more gunfire was followed later. Then bombs exploded. Martin's 45 henchmen were being attacked. 15 of Martin's gunmen were killed. Robert was being surrounded by Martin, pointing a gun at him. Martin was trying to shoot him, but then Frank beated him with a baton. Martin was arrested and was put on trial for 8 days. He was accused of 6th-degree murder, and he was sentenced to 63 years in prison. He died in prison on April 8th, 2006. He was 48 years old. He is buried in Ruskin, Florida. Several people in Safety Harbor considered Martin Crocodile Skink an evil, ruthless, fiendish, nefarious villain that ruined everyone's lives in Florida.